All right, good morning, everyone. How y'all doing? It's Jay here. We're back again with another episode of the Coffee Q&A, our daily live stream where we're talking about coffee and hoping to do things to help you understand coffee and make better coffee for yourself, whether you're at home as an enthusiast or you're working as a professional in a coffee shop environment. So what's going on? How y'all doing? It is today's the 1st of November. Can you believe it? I got to turn this camera on. There's always something that I forget to do in the mornings here when we're starting up. But it's All Saints Day. Hope you had a great Halloween. I went out last night for Halloween. Actually, it was when we had the shop in Hamden. There was good morning, Mom. How are you? We had of course, we were in Hamden, which is this really busy neighborhood. So on our block, a couple of businesses would sponsor a costume contest, and so we would close off our block of the street, and kids would come out. We would give candy to at least 600 kids every year. So we would start right around 4:30 to about 6:37, and we'd give out 600 kids candy, and that was really a lot of fun. And that is one of the few things about retail coffee that I miss the most. And so my friend Brian and his wife Maria, they like to do these big setups in their neighborhood. And I said, I'm going to go out there, and I got nothing else to do. I'm going to go hang out with them and hang out with kids and candy. So that's what I did last night. They gave away a lot of candy to a lot of kids, and it was a lot of fun. Anyway, today's All Saints Day. So, of course, it's a big day in Catholicism and things like that, where people go and remember those who've gone before them. So that's a big thing. And of course, it's a Dia de los Muertos in Mexico, and I guess other parts of Latin America where it's also very big. Like in the Philippines, it's also a very big thing. Already on my Facebook feed, I've seen posts from my cousins who have gone to the graveyards to visit our Lola, collective Lola, and then of course they're in the case where their parents have gone have already passed. They're visiting them, as well as even one of our nieces who passed away many, many years ago. But it's nice to see that. So anyway, today what we're going to be talking about is something called the Sowden Soft Brew. And this is it. It's made in Germany, I believe, by a guy named George Sowden. And it's been out for a good 12, 13 years. It came out quite a while ago, probably around 2011 it came out. And it's a porcelain brewer that has a porcelain lid like this. You can kind of see it here. And so the porcelain lid fits in like this. I bought this right around when it came out because I was really curious. This particular model is called the Oscar. Now, if you go to their website, I have a link in the description. You'll see a link to it, and this one is only available in Germany now. They used to be distributed in the United States. There is some models that are made that are still distributed here in the U.S. Not this one. This is the original one, and it's a lot bigger than a lot of the models they have today. So, like I said, inside here is an insert, right? A stainless steel insert. Now, I don't know if you can see that, but here's the insert. And it actually has little, you can kind of see my eyes, right? So it has these little micro perforations. Each of these holes are 125 microns in size. So they're really small. They're also you can see that they're on both sides of it. This one's, of course, a little bit dirty. I should probably have polished it before we started. But this is the filter. So eventually we're going to place the coffee in the filter. Gray Suit, what's going on, man? How are you? Soft Brew, have never got a good cup of hot coffee out of it. Cold Brew, no problem. Oh, Cold Brew, I got to try that. Bought yours around the same time. And good for teas. Yeah, I've heard they're good for teas. I might have to try it. I haven't really used this one. I've used it a few times. When I bought this, the idea was I was thinking about incorporating it into our coffee service at the Hamden shop. And if you're not familiar, when we started Spro in Hamden, the idea was to really go deep into brewing methodology and things like that. This is back in 2009, 2010. And so we started out with 7 different brew methods, right? So we had pour over in the V60, French press, Clever, Chemex, AeroPress, French Press, and the Ava Solo. So we had 7 different brew methods, and I was thinking about adding the Sowden as one of them back then. We never did, but it was kind of fun to try out with. So I thought I'd share with it to you today. And then, of course, it comes with this big porcelain container. Now, of course, like I said, this is the Oscar model. There are smaller ones that are on their website today. Limited release in the United States, a lot more in the United Kingdom and Germany. But it is a fairly decent style brew. But one thing about this is, since it does sit out here, it is a bit chilly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our water. I'm going to give it a little preheat as well as a little bit of a rinse. It has been sitting in its box for the last, 5-6 years. So we're going to preheat that. And we're going to give it a try and see just how it brews. So who knows? Today we're going to be using our Peruvian house nation, of course, the Chudo Pampa that we've been using last week for all of the pulsar tests. I still have quite a lot of that left. We're going to measure out our typical recipe, which is 24 grams. All right, that's good. Now, they say that the perforations in the filter are 125 microns. So we just need to make sure that our grounds are coarser than 125 microns. We're going to go probably closer to like 900 microns because we're going to go for a very coarse setting on the R8, right? And the reason I'm going to go for a coarse setting is because this is a full immersion type of brew. Now, if you go to their website, or actually, if you go to Sowden's, if you run Sowden Soft Brew as a YouTube search, you'll find a bunch of entries, and they're not like this one video that I saw from one of the SCAs, the representative of the company. He basically he wanted to make it eight cups of coffee in this. He took 8 scoops of ground coffee, put it in here, added water 3/4 of the way, that added all the way up to the max line. There is a max fill line. Where does it say that? Yeah, you can you see that? I don't know if you can see that, but there is right about there. You can kind of see in the reflection here, it does say max. And so that's a max fill line that you're not supposed that you're supposed to fill it to the max, and that way it gives it space for the lid. So Gray Suit's asking, what is the R8? The R8 is a compact, is from a Compact Grinders, is a Spanish-made commercial coffee shop grinder, 80 millimeter burrs, flat burrs, and flat horizontally based burrs. So as it grinds the coffee, it uses the centripetal force to push out the centrifugal force. Right? Centrifugal goes out, centrifugal goes in, centrifugal force to push the coffee out through a chute and down into whatever vessel you're holding it. So it's a real nice grinder, heavy duty. Okay, so that's where we are. We've got this is clean. Let me just do a little quick rinse of this thing. Of course, I don't. Whoops. Did I dent it? No, it's all right. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our filter, put that in here. Oh, well, I'll show it to you. I don't have to worry about it. So we're going to take our coffee. We're going to put it. I'm going to level it out. Oh, you can't even see that. We're going to level it out. Why? Well, I don't know. Because we just do that. We don't really have a rhyme or reason. We're going to take that here, put that in then we're going to place that on our setting here. We're going to actually use our basic brew recipe, which is 24 grams, 24 grams of coffee, 350 grams of water, and we're going to brew for about 3 minutes, maybe 3.5 minutes in this case. And then now Sowden says that you can you're supposed to leave it in while you brew or while you pour, right? You can leave this, but I don't like continual extraction. So I'm going to the intention is I'm going to pull this out eventually when the time comes, and then we're going to see how it is. All right, so let's get to it. I've got our hot water here rolling away. Let me see if I can boost this up so you can see a little bit more of what's happening. A little bit overexposure there. All right, so now we're going to take our timer. And let's begin. We're going to pour, I don't know, about 85 to get a nice wet. Oh, a little bit too much. Sometimes I get a little bit overzealous. So we got 150 grams. Let me just turn that down so you can see So 150 grams of water for our bloom. We're already getting to the 32nd point. Now we're going to pour all the way. Make sure that we're very turbulent with our pouring. Holy crap. There it is. That's a problem. Well, we're going to have a little bit of a offbeat on that. Let's see. 500 grams. Well, we're at 500 grams. We are 150 grams over what we should be. Okay, that's my bad. I'm totally getting confused what we're doing here. But we're going to put the lid back on here. Every once in a while, you make a mistake. Sometimes you just make mistakes, and there it is. There's a mistake for you. We're going to try to see how it goes. We can always come back to the Sowden and see what happens, right? Maybe we can go a little bit longer. Maybe we'll push it all the way out to 4 minutes before we end our brewing so that we can, All right, so what do you think? How's everything going? You're right, Gray Fox. I think you'll be right. Gray Suit will be fine. It should be fine. Well, maybe it won't be fine. Like you said, you haven't had a good coffee in it. Maybe this will make a better coffee. I don't know. Anyway, so what do you think about today's image here on the camera while we're waiting for a couple minutes? I changed lenses today, like before, through yesterday, I've been doing this live stream using a 16 millimeter lens on the camera, which is actually an APS-C centered camera. So the technical aspect of that means that it's really closer to 24, 25 millimeters in frame size. So it's relatively wide. And I was like, in order for me to get somewhat like this framing, I would really have to lean forward. So if you may have noticed in other videos, I might have been, other live streams, I may have been leaning forward a lot because I feel that it's too wide. I think now with this is a 24 millimeter lens. So effective pattern is probably about 35 millimeters. Lighting and lens looks good. Okay, good. I'm glad. Yeah, I wanted to, I think when it gets too wide, like there's only so far I can bring the camera forward, right? Because of the bar and the layout we have here. So I think this is going to feel better. Anyway, all right, we're 3 minutes now. We're just kind of letting it sit. So it just kind of sits there, right? There's not much to do. Oh, they did say we could stir it. So maybe let's give it a stir. The one thing about this, because it is an 8-cup brewer, it doesn't really, it's doing 1 cup out of 1 12-ounce cup. It is pretty low in the pot. So I think that's part of it. I'm used to a visual reference where I'm looking and you can, with let's say like a V60, you put in 350 mils, it's going to come right up to the edge. This one, it's still way at the bottom because it's such a larger vessel. All right, we're at 3 minutes, 59 seconds. So let's pull this. We're just going to pull this out. Going to let it drain. I'm going to put that on the side. Here's our brew. We're going to put that right here. And then we're going to pour it out now. Now, it does have a cloudiness to it because it is full immersion, and we're using metal filters. And something about the metal filters, no matter how fine they may be, like this is 125 microns in size, which sounds very small. It looks really tiny, but it's never as fine as paper or cloth filters that are able to filter out a lot of the really, really fine sediments that you get in the French press and the oils that are also in the French press. And this has similar principles. So as you can see here, we're used to seeing really clear liquids. You can definitely see that there is a bit of cloudiness, a bit of occlusion because of the minor sediments that are in there. So it should give us a more rounded, full-bodied. But they say that the reason it's called soft brew is because while a guy named George Sowden, did the design on it, evidently they brought in some coffee expert that did the brewing for them, and that person, who they did not disclose who that was, described this as having a soft brew flavor experience. So, hence the name Soft Brew. Now, this is a coffee that we've used a lot, so we should have some good comparison points. That warm, there's still a warm on the nose. It is a lot softer, the nose. It's like a lot of times you will have this, the brew where the nose is a little bit more forward. This is a little bit more reserved. It is quite hot. Like, this is one thing about this porcelain body is that while we did preheat it, which gives it an advantage, it does hold the temperature as it's brewing. Like a lot of times we'll have coffees that perhaps aren't as hot. Softer is definitely a way to describe it. And I don't know what it is, but maybe it's the cup, the glass itself. I feel like I'm having a flavor or some kind of experience of detergent. Like perhaps, I rinsed this one out. I cleaned these by hand, so. But there definitely is a softness to that brew. The only way that I can describe that flavor softness, like it doesn't have the normal characteristics of this same coffee we've been using. It's very soft. It's very like, really, it's kind of like you're drinking some kind of detergent additive. But let's try with this cup. Is that different? Whoa. Maybe there is something about that cup. Let's try another one. Maybe I didn't rinse it as well as I thought. Gosh, that's... But here's another one. I'm pulling a third one just because I want to see. Now, these are all like room temperature cups, so they're a little bit on the cool side. So for every one that I'm pouring now, that's bringing the temperature of the coffee itself down. So that's going to have some kind of effect. All right, that's better than this. Actually, yeah. I guess I didn't clean this as well as I thought I did. Okay. Whoa. Okay, so make sure you're rinsing your glassware, cupware well. All kinds of mistakes today. So it does brew differently. Like the effect of on the coffee is very different. It's much softer. Is definitely a way to describe that. It doesn't have the punchiness. The bitternesses of this coffee have been really reduced. The woodiness of the nose has been reduced. Everything about this coffee that we've experienced in other brews, especially with the Pulsar, is different. It's definitely softer. It's definitely more like if you were riding a horse and you're holding the reins, it's like you're pulling back on it, right? Grace says, first rule of Coffee Club, don't do the dish soap. No doubt, no doubt. Whew, man, I really must have not washed that very well. Like that dish soap is really pronounced. And I'm using the Costco dish soap. I just bought a new bottle of it last week. I was running out and I was like, I better go around now and get some. And then Costco used to have this clear one. Now they only have a green colored one. I guess it's all the same. Except when you don't rinse it out well enough. All right, so it's, I'm kind of in line with you, Gray Suit. It's not the greatest cup of coffee that I've brewed. I mean, now, granted, there are a couple factors involved here. Of course, there's the detergent in the cup, the residual detergent that's left over in the cup. Then there's also the problem of the inaccuracy in brewing. So 500 grams to 24 grams is a very high water to coffee ratio. So it's not quite fair. We should do a better brew with it using the proper ratio. So that 150 grams is, a significant increase in water volume. So that's going to reduce the amount of infusion into the water, into the liquid to make the coffee. So that's a factor. I think we're just going to have to try it again. Not today. That would be crazy. We're going to do it again. Maybe next week we'll come back to it and check it out. And tomorrow we're going to do something a little bit different. I've got one of my titas who was like, hey, would you like some coffee? So she gave me some coffee to try. We're going to try it tomorrow. So, all right. So come down and check it out tomorrow. And just as a reminder, tomorrow will be our last live stream of the coffee Q&A this week, because Friday I do have a funeral to attend, and that happens tomorrow on the Friday morning. So tomorrow will be our last session for the week. But Gray Suits, I said to revisit this. Really enjoy no press French press. It's basically cupping coffee, but with a French press. Oh, that is a nice way to make coffee as well. I agree. But yeah, I think if you still have your Sowden at home, yeah, why not give it a try again? See how it goes. We'll do it again next week and see if we can do it more correctly. Maybe we'll do a larger brew, like twice the volume, just so we can get like full use out of the size of it, right? Like I think that, there's going to be some, I mean, I don't think it really is the issue, but there could be some issue with how much of the coffee basket is actually submerged in 300 or 500 grams of water. I think those could all be contributing factors. Plus, we'll want to come back and do this again without detergent-laden, glassware. All right, Mom. Gray Suit, good to see you guys. Have a great one. I'm going to head out, and we'll catch you guys next time, and hope you have a great one.